Om Namo Bhagavate
Devas.
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam
Namaskritya
Namaskritya
Ram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram
Naram
Shiva
Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Devi
Devim
Saraswati
Saraswatim
Vyasam
Vyasam
Tato Jayam Udirayet
Tato Jayam
Jayam
Udiraye
Udhirayet
Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Ashtabhadrishu
Tyam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya
Sevaya.
Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati
Bhagavate
Uttama
Uttama
Shloke
Uttama
Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Nayishtiki
Bhakti
Bhaktir
Bhavati
Bhavati
Naistiki
Nistiki
Srinvatam Swakatah Krishna
Sridvatam
Sravatam Sakata
Samakata
Krishna
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 Punyashravana Kirtana
Punyasravana
Punyashravana
Kirtana
Punyashravana
Kirtana
Vidyantasto Hiya Bhadrani
Pradyam Asto
Vidyantosto
Bhadrani
Dhunoti Suhritsatam
Vidhunoti
Vidnoti
Satam
Sruta
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya
Krishnaya
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki
Devaki
Nandanaya
Nandanaya Cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda
Nandagopakumaraya
Gopakumaraya
Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya
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 Namo
Namo
Namaha.
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 Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
So we are discussing the chapter 19. So Maharaj Parikshit was cursed and he regrets and renounces his life as a king. And he travels to the shore of Ganga, and there he submits himself to the sages who are present there. And Sukadeva Goswami out of nowhere suddenly appears there. And Parikshit Maharaj receives, and then there is some, Parikshit Maharaj, as you see in the picture, he offers his respectful obeisances to Sukadeva Goswami and starts inquiring. So that is the summary of this entire chapter. We covered how Parikshit received Sukadeva Goswami in the last week, 29 to 31. So now, so the same theme continues. Parikshit will now submit himself humbly before before Sukadeva Goswami and inquire, right, like a good disciple. So we are going to read that section now, 32 onwards. So these are the questions asked by Parikshit. Anyway, so we'll go to read. Parikshit Uvacha
Parikshit Vacha
Aho Adya Vayam Brahman
Aho
Aho
Adya
Adya
Vayam
Vayam
Brahman
Brahmam
Satsevya Kshatra Bandhava
Tatsevya
Satsevya
Kshatrabandhava
Kripayatiti Rupena
Krupaya Titirupena
Rupena
Padbhis Tirtha Krita
Bhavatis
Bhavati
Krita
Yeah, please read. Translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
The fortunate King Parikshit said, O Brahmana, by your mercy only, you have sanctified us, making us like unto places of pilgrimage. All by your presence here as my guest, by your mercy, we who are but unworthy royalty became eligible to serve the devotee.
Hmm. So Parikshit now praises Sukadeva Goswami, but out of causeless mercy, there is no need for Parikshit Maharaj to come and see. There is no need for Sukadeva Goswami to come and see Parikshit in that current state. But out of causeless mercy, he had come. And coming of Parikshit is like coming of a pilgrimage site. Generally, one goes to pilgrimage site to purify himself. But great devotees like Sukadeva Goswami, when they come, the holy place itself has come. It is even better than a holy place. In fact, the pure devotees purify the holy place, because everybody else will, leave their sins in the holy places, but pure devotees actually purify even the holy places. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj says, making us like unto the places of pilgrimage, as if I went to a place of pilgrimage. That was the benefit that I got just by receiving you at this place. All by your presence here as my guest. By your mercy, we who are but unworthy royalty, because Parikshit Maharaj is a Kshatriya. As a Kshatriya, he considers himself lower than a Brahmana. Sukadeva Goswami, he is a pure devotee. So, becomes eligible to serve the devotee. Yeah. Continue, Prabhu.
Yeah. Saintly devotees like Sukadeva Goswami generally do not approach worldly enjoyers, especially those in the royal orders. Maharaja Pathaputrada was follower of Lord Chaitanya, but when he wanted to see the Lord refused to see him because he was a king. For devotees who desires to go back to Godhead, two things are strictly prohibited: worldly enjoyers and women. Therefore, devotees of the standard of Sukadeva Goswami are never interested in seeing kings. Maharaja Parikshit was, of course, a different case. He was a great devotee, although a king, and therefore Sukadeva Goswami came to see him in his last stage of life.
Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee. So, and Sukadeva Goswami generally doesn't go visit anybody. Just like if you have heard about Maharaj Prataparudra, he was looking for the audience of Lord Chaitanya, but Lord Chaitanya was not interested in meeting, even though he is the king of Orissa at the time. The reason is, as a king always deals with enemies and money, property, right? Punishing people, rewarding people. So there is always material dealing involved in relation to king, as out of his duty. But Prataparudra was also a great devotee, but still Lord Chaitanya would refuse to meet him. Of course, later on, he becomes very, merciful to Prataparudra and blesses him. Similarly, Sukadeva Goswami had generally would not meet any ordinary materialistic people, right? But Parikshit Maharaj was a great devotee. So because he's a great devotee, Sukadeva Goswami gives his audience at the last stage of his life to relieve him of the material bondage. Yesham samsmaranat pumsam
Yesham
Samsmaranat Purusham
samsmaranat
sadhya sudhyanti vaigraha
sadhya sudhyanti vaigraha
Kim punardarshana sparsa
Kim
Punardarshana
punardarshana
sparsha
sparsha
padasaucha sanadibhi.
padasaucha sanadibhi.
Please read.
Simply by remembering you, our houses become instantly sanctified. And what to speak of seeing you, touching you, washing your holy feet, and offering you a seat in our home.
Just by remembering a pure devotee, our existence will be purified. Our houses will be purified. So this is all praised by Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadeva Goswami. So he was extremely grateful that Sukadeva Goswami had come visit him. So he was offering with these sweet words to him. Yeah, please read, Prabhu.
The importance of holy places of pilgrimage is due to the presence of great sages and saints. It is said that sinful persons go to holy places and leave their sins there to accumulate. But the presence of the great saints disinfects the accumulated sins, and thus holy places continue to remain sanctified by the grace of devotees and saints present there. If such saints appear in the homes of worldly people, certainly the accumulated sins of such worldly enjoyers become neutralized. Therefore, the holy saints actually have no self interest with householders. The only aim of such saint is to sanctify the house of the householders, and the householders therefore should feel grateful when such saints and sages appear at their doors.
Yeah. If such saints appear in the homes of worldly people, certainly the accumulated sins of such worldly enjoyers become neutralized. This is the benefit of great saints entering the homes of householders. Yeah, because they have no interest. The only aim of such saints is to sanctify the houses of the householders. So devotee should, the householder should feel grateful when such people enter. Sanijate Mahayogin
Sanityate
Nityate mahayogin
Patakani Mahanti Api
patakani
mahayantapi
Sadhyo Nashanti Vaipumsam
sadhyo
sadhyo nasanti vaipumsam
Vishnu Ivasura Suretara.
Vishnu
Krishna aiva suretara.
Yeah, please read.
Just as the atheist cannot remain in the presence of the personality of Godhead, so also the invulnerable sins of a man are immediately vanquished in your presence, O saint, O great mystic.
Invulnerable sins of a man are immediately vanquished in your presence. So the most difficult sins also are vanquished by the presence of a pure devotee. So this is the greatness of association of a pure devotee. That's why whenever we have the opportunity to associate with great devotees, we should feel it is the blessing of the Lord. Yeah. Yeah, please read this actually.
There are two classes of human beings, namely the atheist and the devotee of the Lord. The devotee of the Lord, because of manifesting good godly qualities, is called a demigod, whereas the atheist is called a demon. The demon cannot stand the presence of Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. The demons are always busy in trying to vanquish the personality of Godhead, but factually, as soon as the personality of Godhead appears by either his transcendental name, form, attributes, pastimes, paraphernalia, or variegatedness, the demon is at once vanquished. It is said that a ghost cannot remain as soon as the holy name of the Lord is chanted.
Yeah. So demons cannot stay where there is Supreme Lord. So that's why in any situation we chant the holy name. As soon as we chant, there is all auspiciousness. In fact, there will not be any ghosts. There are many stories of some of the Prabhupada disciples in England. In England, there were in London, I think, sorry. In London, there were a lot of ghosts. I don't even know, I think there are a lot of ghosts. And sometimes in places where, ISKCON temples were, using some of these old churches, there were ghosts. And, by chanting the holy names, many times these ghosts were driven away by disciples of Prabhupada. So these are real examples. Many stories were there like that. So wherever there is holy name, there is no question of any ghosts or demons, right? Even when you are a little bit in anxiety or morose, chant the holy name. Immediately you will see a big change in your consciousness. Has anyone experienced that? Like you're a little bit in anxiety or stress, and then you chanted the holy name and you immediately experienced a different consciousness. Has anyone tried that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
After work, sometimes when we get really stressed out, if you chant it unknowingly also at the end of that few rounds, you may not notice immediately, but then stress eventually, if it's goes out, and then I realize later that, oh yes, that effect happened, but I didn't focus on noticing that.
Yeah, you can notice actually immediately. As soon as you chant, your mind will be lit with positive consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, for example, there is a dark room. As soon as light is put, you can see everything clearly, correct? See, when we are in anxiety or stress, or your mind is not clear and no clear thinking is happening, is because your mind is filled with so much negative thoughts, right? It's like dark room. You can't see anything clearly. Now, immediately, as soon as you chant, it's like light entering the mind. When light enters mind, what happens? Everything becomes very clear. So, holy name has that special power, to light up mind anytime you chant.
Prabhuji, if I may share one of the experience here.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So normally when I chant, of course, mind keeps going here and there. I just keep bringing it back. So, but one of the thing I noticed, like whenever I'm in kind of like in a situation where I don't know what to do, and when I'm chanting that, there is more focus, and the situation get dissolved by itself. I don't know how, but that's what couple of times I experienced, realized that.
Very nice, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah,
Sure.
situation itself will go away sometimes, whatever we were thinking, oh, big problem, you chant the holy name, take the shelter of holy name, Krishna will, take care of the situation itself. Whatever situation may be, you can face any situation. That is the power of holy name. If you chant the holy name, you can face any kind of situation. No matter what, you don't need to worry, how do I face that? Chant the holy name, you will get the power to face it. Yeah, have that faith. There is nothing that is superior in power than the holy name. So everything will be all right. Just take shelter of holy name. Yeah. Api me Bhagavan Prita
Api me Bhagavan
Ye Bhagavan Prita
Krishna Pandu Suta Priya
Krishna
Krishna
Pandu
Pandu
Priya
Paitriswaseya Prityardham
Paitrisya
Prityartham
Priti Artham
Tadgotrasyat Bandhava.
Tadgotrasya
Gotrasya
Bandhava.
Bandhava.
Yeah, please read.
Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is very dear to the son of King Pandu, has accepted me as one of those relatives just to please his great cousin and brothers.
Hmm. See, this is again humility of Parikshit Maharaj, no? Who is very dear to sons of Krishna, who is very dear to the sons of King Pandu, the Panch Pandavas, has accepted me as one of those relatives just to please his great cousins and brothers. Yeah? Accepted me means why he accepted me? He's saying because he was protected by Krishna, right? So Parikshit is saying, it is not by my greatness that Krishna protected me. Because Krishna is a dear, very dear friend of all the Pandavas and a protector of Pandavas. So because just to please them, he protected me. You see, this is the humility of Parikshit Maharaj. Even though he is a great devotee, he wants to put himself down. It is because of Pandavas I was protected. Yeah, he accepted me as one of those relatives just to please his great cousins and brothers. Yeah, please read.
Generally, people are attached to the family matters, and the whole economic impetus of human society is moving under the influence of family affection. Such a deluded person have no information that one can render better service to the family by becoming a devotee of Lord. The Lord gives special protection to the family members and descendants of the devotee, even though such a members are themselves non-devotees. Maharaja Prahlada was a great devotee of the Lord, but his father, Hiranyakashipu, was a great atheist and declared enemy of the Lord. But despite all this, the Hiranyakashipu was awarded salvation due to his being the father of Maharaja Prahlada.
In fact, Lord says, Narsingadeva says in Prahlad Maharaj's case, 27 generations of you will be delivered. Not only you, your 27 generations, your father, father's father, father's father, everybody will be delivered. So, if one becomes a devotee in the family, the whole family will be protected. The whole family is saved. It's like, if suppose somebody becomes a billionaire suddenly in a family member, right? His son and his son's son, all of them, become rich people because he is the son of a billionaire. Naturally, he doesn't need to work hard. Already he is a billionaire by birth. So similarly, if it is true for a simple material matter like, becoming the son of a billionaire makes one billionaire, what to speak of a devotee? So even the Hiranyakashipu was a demon, still, because he was the son of Prahlad Maharaj, he was awarded salvation at the end of his life. So that is the benefit of having a devotee in our life, in our own family. Okay? So by becoming a devotee, it is actually serving all your family. Right? Sometimes family members do not know this fact. They think why you are giving up everything and becoming devotee and doing all this, chanting and all. But the reality is, it is ultimately going to benefit them only. Yeah, no, it's okay. Anyatha te vyaktagater
Anyatharthe Vaktagatir
darshanam na katham rinam
Darshanam Na Katham Nrinam
nitaram riyam mananam
Nitaram Rinam Mananam
samsiddhasya vaniyasha.
Samsiddhasya Vaniyasham.
Please read. Anyone?
Otherwise, without being inspired by the Lord Krishna, how is that you have voluntarily appeared here, though you are moving incognito to the uncommon man and are not visible to us who are on the verge of death?
Now he is actually, so in the previous verses, he was very grateful to Sukadeva Goswami for having have come here to see him at the time of death. Now he is praising Lord Krishna. Without the mercy of Lord Krishna, without the inspiration of Lord Krishna, how is it that you have voluntarily appeared? It is only causeless mercy of Lord Krishna. That's what he's saying here. Though you are moving incognito to generally, he is never visible to anybody, Sukadeva Goswami, because he has nothing to do with people of this world, right? But because there is great devotee Parikshit, and he is at the time of verge of death, so he appeared to become merciful towards him. We see this all the time. When Dhruva Maharaj, in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, he was insulted by his stepmother, Suruchi. And then he leaves the palace, Uttanapada's kingdom, and goes to the forest. And before that, he goes to his mother. His mother, already she was not taken good care by the king. Uttanapada was having special affection for the second wife, not the first wife. She was already in a bad shape, and then on top of it, her son was also now looked down, Dhruva Maharaj. So she was very morose, but she gave a very good instruction to her son. The first instruction she says is, my dear child, never consider anyone is responsible for your misery. Whatever misery comes upon us is only because of our own past actions. Everyone else is an instrument. The misery you are going through has nothing to do with what anybody has behaved with you. It is what we are all due for. So no, do not become angry at the king. Do not become angry at your stepmother. So she pacifies him with good words. And then secondly, she guides him to go to forest and pray to the Lord, because Lord is the proprietor. If anything can be done, only Lord can save you. So with these two instructions, he was left. So he goes to forest, and immediately there was who was his guru, who appears there to guide him.
Narada Muni.
Narada Muni, yeah. So Narada Muni appears. So as soon as a student is ready and sincere, immediately Krishna sends the teacher to him. So Narada Muni appears, and first he tries to test him. He will verify he is really sincere, and then he instructs him in the path of yoga, right? To meditate on the Supreme Lord. So in that way, he will be, he will achieve his perfection within a short time. So Lord Krishna always takes care of a person who is ready for spiritual progress. He will make sure he will arrange the pure devotee to take care of an aspiring student. So in this way here, now Parikshit immediately, he's smart, he immediately recognized, how else will you come other than by the mercy of Lord Krishna, who would have inspired you to come here to save me. Okay? So otherwise, what is the need for you to come? I'm about to die anyway. Okay? So this is the mood of a sincere devotee. Yeah, please read this.
The great sage Sukadeva Goswami was certainly inspired by Lord Krishna to appear voluntarily before Maharaja Parikshit, the great devotee of the Lord, just to give him the teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam. Once one can achieve the nucleus of the devotional services of the Lord by mercy of the spiritual master and the personality of Godhead. The spiritual master is the manifested representative of the Lord to help one achieve ultimate success. One who is not authorized by the Lord cannot become a spiritual master. Srila Sukadeva Goswami is authorized spiritual master, and thus he was inspired by the Lord to appear before Maharaja Parikshit and instruct him in the teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam.
So Sukadeva Goswami is an authorized spiritual master, and thus he was inspired by Lord to appear before Maharaj Parikshit. This is all arrangement of Lord. Lord himself arranges. So there is a perfect student and a perfect teacher, and there was a perfect scripture that comes out of this whole discussion, Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, so here Prabhupada explains how. Can you read this, Prabhu?
Sure. This, however, depends on the sincerity of the devotee himself. The Lord is seated in the heart of all living beings, and thus he knows very well the movements of all individual persons. As soon as the Lord finds that this particular soul is very eager to go back to Godhead, the Lord at once sends his bona fide representative. The sincere devotee is thus assured by the Lord of going back to Godhead. The conclusion is that to get assistance and help from bona fide spiritual master means to receive the direct help of the Lord himself.
So if you have the guidance of a spiritual master, you are very fortunate. It clearly means Lord is very merciful upon you. Otherwise, it is not possible in the material world. Okay? So if we have the access to, study of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, and the guidance of a pure devotee, and association of a pure devotee, if we have the opportunity to hear from them, it is absolutely the mercy of Lord. We have no qualification. We have already rejected Lord. We came here to the material world to enjoy independently. It is absolutely the mercy of Lord that he keeps on arranging the situations for our purification. Atah prichami samsiddhim yoginam paramam gurum purusasyeha karyam mriyamanasya sarvata. Prichami samsiddhim. Atah prichami samsiddhim means, so the inquiries are all about achieving perfection. Prichami means inquiries. Samsiddhim means to achieve perfection. Yeah. Please read.
You are the
You are
spiritual of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for one who is about to die.
Hmm. So here we saw the picture also. In that assembly, there was Devarshi Narada. He's the like out of rishis. He's a demigod and also a great rishi. Right? And then there is Vyasadeva, who is a Trikalagna and and he's also a Bhagavan. And there are so many great sages and saints in that assembly. But Sukadeva Goswami was given the highest position there. The reason is he is a pure devotee of Lord. And also, Narada and also Vyasadeva fall in the same category. But one can, just by seeing Sukadeva Goswami, one can understand he's superior. He's superior and is the best person to speak Bhagavatam. Even when when Narada Muni and Vyasadeva were hearing, Narada was feeling, I taught this Bhagavatam to Vyasadeva in succinct form. I never had this much realization. Even Vyasadeva was saying, I only spoke this entire Bhagavatam, but they were all hearing as if this Bhagavatam was spoken for the first time.
Yes.
That is the greatness of a pure devotee.
Sukhamukha.
Sukhamukhadi, Dravyam. Yeah. Yeah, please read from here.
Unless one is perfectly anxious to inquire about the way of perfection, there is no necessity of approaching a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not a kind of decoration for householder. Generally, a fashionable materialist engages a so-called spiritual master without any profit. The pseudo-spiritual master flatters the so-called disciple, and thereby both the master and his ward to go to hell without a doubt. Maharaj Parikshit is the right type of disciple because he puts forward questions vital to the interest of all men, particularly for the dying man.
So even today in India, a lot of people have their Kula Guru or a family Guru. They take initiation from them, but there is no instruction or there is no superior goal like achieving perfection of life. There is nothing like it. It's just a custom or a fashion.
Yes.
So having such guru and getting initiated from them may not really. Sometimes there may be very sincere devotees, but in general, it is not going to lead to achieving perfection. So Prabhupada is clarifying that part. Maharaj Parikshit is the right type of disciple because he put forward questions vital to the interest of all men. So Maharaj, we can see all through Bhagavatam, Maharaj Parikshit was very inquisitive. Even though he was about to die, he is very inquisitive about so many aspects. He will inquire all through this scripture. So that is the nature of a sincere disciple. A sincere disciple is not just one who blindly follows. There should always be some inquiries. Sincere inquiries. Again, inquiry not just for the sake of it, but inquiry to follow and to follow through, to actually follow in one's own life. Yeah. Yachrotavyam atho japyam
Shauchavyam
कर्तव्यं नृभे प्रभो
Yatkartavyam
Kartavyam
Prabho
Ravi Prabho
कर्तव्यं भजनीयं वा
Smartavyam
Smartavyam
Bhajanevavyam
ब्रूहि यद्वा विपर्ययम्
Bruhiyatva
Brunhyatma
Viparyayam.
Viparyayam.
Translation.
Please let me know what a man should hear, chant, remember, and worship, and also what he should not do. Please explain all this to me.
Now he's inquiring about what a man in general, right, should hear. What should one hear? I'm asking you all. What should one hear?
One should hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, glories of devotees,
What should one chant?
glory chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, holy name. What should one remember or smaran?
Remember the pastimes of the Lord, devotees.
of the Lord, yes. When one hears and chants, one gets the potency to remember. Smaranam. Smaranam is the most important limb. In fact. And who is the who is the authority of remembrance?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Yes.
He always remembers Krishna and immediately gets protected, right? And worship. Who is the authority of worship?
Ambarish Maharaj.
Amrish, yeah. With all the limbs he worships. Who is the authority of hearing?
Parikshit.
Parikshit.
Yeah. And who is the authority of chanting?
Narad Muni.
Narad Muni, yeah.
Namacharya, Haridas.
Haridas Thakur.
Haridas Thakur, yes, we can say that. Yeah. Yeah. So please explain this to me. So he's very inquisitive. Right? He's not worried about his death. You see, he's about to die in like 7 days, but his focus is 100% on Nunam Bhagavato Brahman
Nonam
Bhagavato
Bhagavato
Brahman.
Griheshu Grihamedinam
Griheshu Grihamedinam.
Lakshatehi Avasthanam
Nalakshate Avastanam.
Ego Dohanam Kvachet.
Api
Godhanam Pashe.
O powerful Brahmana, it is said that you hardly stay in the houses of men long enough to milk a cow.
Being a renunciant, the renunciants, especially any holy places, they go around the householders just to benefit them. Right? We already read that in the previous verses. So when they go there, they won't stay long and waste their time. Generally, they stay only for the time as much as it takes to milk a cow. Few minutes, basically. Yeah, please read this.
Saints and sages in the renounced order of life go to the houses of the householders at the time they milk the cows early in the morning and ask some quantity of milk for subsistence. A pound of milk fresh from the milk bag of a cow is sufficient to feed an adult with all vitamin values, and therefore saints and sages live only on milk. Even the poorest of the householders keep at least 10 cows, each delivering 12 to 20 quarts of milk, and therefore no one hesitates to spare a few pounds of milk for the mendicants. It is the duty of householders to maintain the saints and sages like the children.
Saints and sages should be treated like one's children, because they are giving their life for the benefit of others, right? So all the brahmacharis and sannyasis in our organization, for example. It is only we who have to support them. Yeah, please read this.
The householders also should be intelligent enough to get some transcendental information from the visiting sages. The householder should not foolishly ask a saint to deliver what is available in the market. That should be the reciprocal relation between the saints and the householders.
So when we associate with saintly men or women, so the inquiry should be on spiritual matters. It should not be material matters. Suta uvacha.
Sutta vacha
Evam abhasita prishta.
Evam abhasita prastha
Sarajna slanksha shnaknaya gira.
sarajna gira
Pratyabhasata dharmogno.
pratyabhasata
Bhavan bhadarayana.
Bhagavan
Sri Sutta Goswami said, the king thus spoke and questioned the sage using sweet language. Then the great and powerful personality of the son of Vyasadeva, who knew the principles of religion, began his reply.
So now, pleased by the sweet words of Parikshit Maharaj, so Sukadeva Goswami now starts speaking. So this ends the Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1. So we'll begin Canto 2 after 2 weeks. We'll have 2 weeks break. So next week we have His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu visiting us. You all might have known Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. I'll send an email about it.
Which day, Prabhuji?
He will come after Sadhu Sangha retreat, the May 30th. So he'll come on Wednesday, Tuesday, I think. Tuesday he'll come, yeah.
Oh, Tuesday. Okay.